Hello there folks, this is Ferenc on board here, this time today with a video about how to create some tile sets, let's say. And this time I'm not going to use some advanced softwares which anyone can use, like Photoshop. People can actually create some tile sets through there, but there is actually a way to do that, and this one is through a part of RPG Maker called Sakan. Now Sakan is let's call it a design tool which allows you to create tile sets, which allows you to draw your own tiles based on the two functions that it has, the pencil and an eraser. So the way it works, first you start your Sakan either from here or probably you have it as a separate installation. In order for it to work, because nothing will work, one needs to upload the project they are working on, the current project, into Sakan, which means they have to open the MV project, because I'm working in MV right now, and unfortunately it does not save the last currently used path or something like that, so you have to actually look for your game, which mine is like kind of very deep inside E, but let's say it doesn't matter. I have created a shortcut for it on the desktop because my game is in Steam and you have to go into, common and all the folders of Steam. Now when you load your project, there are these three tabs that become available. The first tab is, well, it has some assets that they are not initially available in the game. People may not have these, so the point is you can actually select these and add them to a tile set if that's something that you would want. Now how do you see these let's say bigger? Because the way you use them is you press click and they appear here on this little square. In order to see them higher, there is this, let's call it a magnifying glass. However, in RPG Maker usually you'll be using this is kind of what they will look like, but usually RPG Maker would at most be something like this. Now when you choose a picture, and I'm gonna choose another one, first of all you have to click it, because if you want to edit the picture it will disappear. Every time you click it and you see these lines moving, if you want to edit, it disappears because it was not stuck to this panel. So in order to stuck it to the that panel, you have to click it once or twice, and then when you click the pencil it no longer disappears. The point is, well, it is good. You can actually use Ctrl Z for that to undo any changes you have done. Control and scroll button do not work to make this higher or smaller, but the point of this is that first you can actually click them, and I don't know, probably I want half of this pie in here, so I'm gonna put it something like this, and then I'm gonna click it simply on it, and as you can see it was now stuck to the panel. So now that I want to add something different in here, I only have half the pie as I wanted. That is a cool feature. It can actually be very useful. Now if you want to import some of these, you just click on them as I said. Okay, let's move to the other points before diving into some of the other details. Okay, so first of all, if you press MV, this will present the tile sets that you currently have, and these are the tile sets that my current project actually has. You can see them in well, in your program. If you press F9 to see the database console, then you go to tile sets, and in tile sets you can actually see they are the exactly same. So what I want to do now is I want to load some two new tile sets that I have received them. So let's call them here sci-fi new. Okay, and let's call it temporary because I don't necessarily need this. Okay, so this one, in order to create a tile set, there are these boxes that you have to press, and well, in order to put tile sets, you have to match some of these specifications. Now for B, C, D, and E, these will be full tile sets. Wait, I also have some parts. Now when you purchase tile sets, you will see they have a certain name, usually this A1, A2, A5. These A's are mandatory to be preserved, because if it says A1 animation, it has to be specifically put in here, else the auto tiles will not work. I'm thinking of learning how to use Tile D, which is another program for RPG Maker, and hopefully I will create a video on how to use that, because it is kind of lackluster on this. And it's a bit intricate to use, and it's advanced enough to allow you to create your own custom maps from different tile sets, and you can actually import it into the game. But it requires a lot of setup, so I haven't dived into that yet. So what I need here is to load two tile sets from starboard, which is gonna be this one, and the next one is gonna be this one. Okay, so why I made a new tile set in here is because in my current tile set here that I'm using, this one is mainly from Visustella. I'm actually very grateful for her tile sets, which look quite very cute. I'm interested in adding a few details in here, so in order for that, I need to add those to this to the tile set. So in order to add something, you need first of all a tile set, which in this case is this one, and let's see, no, oh wait, I have to close it and reopen it because it didn't refresh. So as I said, you go to your folder location. Let's see, we have under work projects, and we have project 1 and in here. Now for some reason it really does not want to understand this new tile set of mine, and I really don't understand like why, but let's say for the purpose of this tutorial I'm gonna say that, hey, you know, and as you can see, I'm gonna just put something from somewhere to another, so from one tile to another, so you have an export part here. So from MV here, let's say I want to import something from this one, the present day. I want to export it, and here you have tile select. You select another one that you want. Let's say I want a new school layout, and here you can actually see the tile sets, the tiles that you are using for A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and BCDE. So let's say I want to change something and put it into here. Now when you commit to such a change, you save the file. Usually if I change an original tile set, I save it with a mod tag, so I write mod afterwards so that I preserve the original one. And the point is, if you commit to changing one of these inside your game, each of these squares in here is actually allocated to a certain, let's call it place. Okay, let's take it something like this. So when you have it like this, it's like each tile actually has this specific location. So if you put 93, let's say in here, and then in Sakan you change that 93 to another picture, it will change them in all places where you have used that specific tile from this specific tile set. So if I change this plant here, let's say with the fridge in here, and I put the fridge in here, all the plant instances that I have from this specific tile in any given map will be replaced with that fridge. So do take care when you commit to these changes. That is why I always preserve an original of the tile sets that I have used, because if you ruin that tile set, you probably have to go and look for it and download it again from the store or wherever you bought it from, um, or you have to actually look for that specific tile and like replace it, like undoing the changes. So now what I want to do is let's see, here you have the 5 tile sets, or whatever you want to call them, A, B, C, D, E. And let's say that I want to introduce something like okay, so let's do something like this. I have school rooftop. This is the last one that I'm needing to create. It's the rooftop of my university, which I want to replicate a little forest above. Okay, so many people might actually ask, why on earth would you put trees on top of a building? Well, my university here represents Shizuoka University of Art and Culture. It's not a replica of it, because in my game it's not called A Journey Through Consciousness for nothing. And there will be some gruesome events, and I don't know how people will actually react to it. So this all happens in a parallel universe, even if the name of the university is the same. The structure is something that I came up with, so that is why I want to create it in as unique way as possible. If you look at the university from above, right, like Google Maps, you can actually see that the roof of it looks like going through a park. Now I don't remember if it actually has trees, but you can take these that I'm gonna use as plastic trees, or I don't know, something like that. Again, it's just a game, so don't fuss up about being too unrealistic, because it has such things. So what I want to do is, these little trees that I made here, they have been drawn by me, so I want them added in here. Okay, so now what you have to do is, let's see, you can select one tile, you can select 2 tiles, you can select multiple tiles, and your selection will actually appear in here. So what I want is to add these all at once and see where I want, because there are these tiles in here, some of them that I really don't need. Like I could use some of these probably, but these I don't need. These I don't need. I mean, I do have the original tile, that is why I put a mod in here to show that this is a changed one. So we're gonna put these trees in here. So what you have to do is select a tile from here, put it where you want on the tile set, then hit save as, and type the name in there, medieval 3, or oh wait, it's pb3 and mod. Preferably copy the name and then save. You copy the name if you want to add more and more things. Okay, so now it actually stuck in here. If you go to your own game and you go to the respective tile set, which is one of these, you can actually see they have actually been implemented in here. Now the point is, you have to do this for each and every tile that you want to add, like for each and every one in turn. So let's say I want to add this bookcase in here. Okay, I want to add it, I will add it somewhere in here. Now pay attention that some of the tiles actually can be a bit confusing, because you might get the impression that here is a free space, and well, you can't put it in here because you'll put it over another tile. So as I said, make sure you put things correctly. Now there are certain cases in which you can actually put something above another currently existent tile, but those cases are very rare. In this case it cannot, but there are a few cases, and if you use this software quite a lot, you'll actually realize them. Use the lines to actually know where there is space, because some of these actually don't occupy a full tile. Like in this case, let's see, let's take a simple thing. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, so if you put it over here, you will see that this specific tile takes only half the place. Like in here, right, it takes only half the place, and you can actually see the tile below it. So be very mindful when you put things. Now this tree in here, I require it because I'm using it for some animation events. There is an event that appears, and these leaves will appear as falling continuously from the oka trees. It's an animation that I really liked creating. It's, I think, the first animation, and I put it into an event set. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I will need these ones as well, and I will want them, let's say, in here. Okay. So again, save as. You paste the name, because if you're gonna use the same one, you're gonna use the same one. Okay, now this one is here. This is part of another animation that I require, and unfortunately I don't know how to do auto tiles, so I actually have to stick to this. Okay, we put it in here, paste, and yes. Okay, and the last one in here, I have to keep in mind that it's, oh, here is some blank space. Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, so that's basically how it works. Now let's add this bookcase. We're gonna add it in here, and again, save as, and yes. Now if you look at this, you can actually see more options in here. These are for animations. They don't have necessarily a use in here if you use them. These are for player drawn things. Okay, so let's see. We go to MV, we go to page B. Nope. Let's see, present day school. Yes, it should have them somewhere down, but I really don't remember where exactly. Okay, so I had some recording cameras that I drew myself. Now the point is simple. Okay, let's say nope, this one doesn't have new school layout. Okay, so these ones, good. Now you have a draw tab in here. When you want to draw stuff, usually I go to 8 or 16 times, and when you want to draw something, you take the pen and you simply pick a color and you actually start drawing stuff. You throw in different colors. Now I have created something, for example, let's call this one, or this one, or this one. So basically I created a, the basic sketch, what I can say, of a security camera, and I drew it in like 3 different positions, so that I put it in an event with 60 frames weight that gives the impression that's actually moving, right? So when you create something, let's say that I want to create something, it's a bit trickier. So let's go back to new school layout. Oh wait, actually I am in there. So I want to put, let's say that I drew something. Now this one. Okay, so about the Japanese system, their tiles are their floors are counted differently. So they do not have a ground floor, they have a first floor instead of the ground floor. So basically this is something that you put at your first floor, because the first floor for us is actually the second floor. So we have here Ikkai, which is the first floor, meaning to them it is the ground floor. So this one, I also drew a little arrow in here, because you see there's this point in here. Let's see where that was. Okay, it's up. Okay, so in this place you have, for the player, you have an area with 2 staircases, and it's like where do they lead, right? So I have, in case, but I think it's actually visible, you have this one. So this is actually floor 2, but for the Japanese it's actually Sankai, or the 3rd floor. So if the player goes up these stairs, they will go to the 4th floor, okay, for the Japanese, but for us it's floor 3. If they go down these ones, unfortunately I don't have an animation for down floors. This one actually goes down, so it's towards floor 2. So let's say we actually, drew this one, and I want to make a new version of it. Okay, let's kind of got, oh wait, it was like here, the theater club scene. Okay, so now all I want is this one. Okay, but this one I'm gonna put at the roof. Okay, so wait, let's see, I have a tile in here, okay, that says roof, and you see it says to the roof. Now if I'm now with this tile set in here, I'm working at the roof, so I need the go to level 4. Okay, so we click this one so that we can edit it. Okay, now we make it higher. You can use right click to copy a certain color. Okay, and let's draw the arrow upside down. Now we have this. Now we copy the red, and we have this, and this. Okay, now we made 2 down to the 4th level. Okay, or shikai. Actually, no, wait, it's yes, it's shikai. So this tile, let's say we actually drew it. Now you have to go to user and press add in here, because when you draw something, you don't have, it doesn't always appear like ready for export. Now why this is useful, and it is critical actually, because I had a nerve-wracking experience with this part. So you have to put it here, because from here you will use it, let's say, in animation, or I don't know, in any other things. Okay, so if you don't put it in here, unfortunately you can no longer use it. So let's say that you delete this one. Okay, let's say that I put another thing. Okay, let's say that I delete this one for some reason. Okay, I delete it. Okay, you can actually choose the dimension of the rubber and of the pen, and let's say I put this monitor, this laptop, okay, and I export it. Now the question is, how am I gonna get that drawing that I made back? Well, you simply can't, because you haven't saved it in here. Now this doesn't save it forever. This here, like, let's say we want to save this laptop as well for further use. Wait, okay, I have to add it. Delete this one because it's blank space, delete this one because it's blank space. Okay, it's kind of goofy in a way, but you'll get used to it. Okay, if you follow what I'm saying, you should get used to it. Okay, so every time you create something here, let's say you work for an intricate tree, okay, it's better from time to time to keep adding in here. Okay, so that if you accidentally start working towards something else and you forgot about the tree, you at least have your progress in here. Okay, you have a progress bar. So let's say I drew half the tree and I drew 3/4 of the tree, but like when I'm halfway, I want to load only that and continue with something else on the tree, something, a different mesh, right? And then from that 3/4 stage I want to build something else, so that you end up with different tree versions, right? So you can use these in here. However, if you close the applications, this will actually vanish. So I would recommend using Sakan with a laptop, because if you get a power failure like I had, you're gonna curse a lot, because there's no progress that's gonna be saved. Also, if you close the application, it will only ask you, is it okay? And if you press yes, nothing is gonna be saved. If you have implemented these in the tile sets, yes, that's gonna be saved, but this here is what I call work in progress. Now what this animation tab in here does is you can actually create animations. So I'm not gonna draw anything for now because I don't have the time for it, but I will show you how basic animation works. Now let's do this simple. Let's delete this laptop. Okay, now even if you have something in here, let's say you have this one, when you change it, it will actually clear the canvas. Okay, so let's say you had the picture, when you change the dimensions here, it actually makes your picture disappear. So take great care. Okay, it actually warns you, but you might not be too attentive. So these here actually allow you to have different dimensions. So this one is a 1 by 1, a 2 by 1 but vertical, 2 by 1 but horizontal, 2 by 2 auto tile. This one is usually for the auto tiles if you want to create animated tiles. And this one I think it's a 3 by 3. If I remember correctly, it's actually a 3 by 3. So let's say I want to create an animation. Let's say we draw the trees that I had, okay, but they are not in here because they are in here. So in order to create these trees, first of all you need to draw this one. Let's say we have just drawn this one. You see, it no longer disappears. Now this tree, you're gonna go to user and of course you're gonna add. Now we're gonna use this from here and put it into the animation slot. Usually it's put by default in here, and you can use 3 or 4 frames, which means 3 or 4 animations. In this case I'm gonna use just 3 because I really don't need a 4th one, but we can use also a 4th one. Okay, now let's say you add the leaves. Okay, so you have the tree, which is the tree in idle state. Okay, now let's say you also drew these leaves, okay, which are, let's say, the leaves like halfway, or the leaves actually reached the ground. Okay, so no, it's actually this tree. I drew them in the wrong order. I put them here in the wrong order. So first of all you have the leaves that fall from the tree. So guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna add it. Wait. So I put it in here. You need to click it, okay, and you add the picture in here. Now this one you have to add it in here. How you do it? You click it again. So I'm gonna show it again. First and foremost you click the picture in here, because this is basically what's gonna be your animation. You take this one. First of all we need to delete. We need to delete this one because it needs a reset. So that is why this software can be actually annoying, and yes, I know, I've actually had nerve-wracking experiences. So you take this tree and you put it in here, okay? Now you click it, okay, and now that you click it again, it will appear in here. So basically you click and you click again, or you can double click it if you want, but I really don't want to rush with double clicks, because you see, if you rush you can actually move it and you'll probably not like it. Okay, so in case you make a mistake, you just press either of these because it will reset the picture. So you add the picture again, you click on it, and it should appear in here. Now you have the second picture, and then you go back in here. First of all, let's click this one just to be sure. Just to be sure, because if you add another picture in here you don't overwrite that. You have it saved in here, but let's not do the thing again. Okay, so I delete that and I'm adding these 3 in here. Okay, so you need to be sure. First of all you select it, you click it, and it should also instantly appear in here. Okay, now we're gonna use 4 frames, let's say, and I'm gonna delete this tree again, and fuck, I deleted that one as well because, you know, I forgot to do this. Now I'm gonna put this tree again in here, and it should look like this. Now let's say I don't need to add it in here because this one is the same in here. So you can actually hit play and you can actually see the animation. Okay, it took me a while to create these animations. Now the point with this is that we already had it drawn. Okay, so what you had to do was first of all draw the tree as it looks. Okay, you can actually use 16, 8, 4. Okay, this was a quick drawing. I just need a placeholder because I'll most likely, you know, improve the visuals of these trees. So you first create a tree, you save it, stop, you save it in here, then you add the leaves, you save again, then you delete those leaves and you add them down, okay, and you add it in here again. Then from here you'll probably have to delete your tree, okay, and from there you'll actually have to add each of these situations, considering that they are the same as it here. You add them here, put the first picture here, or as soon as you drew them you put it in here and then select the next frame, so that when you draw the next one and you want it inserted in the animation, you don't overwrite your first one. So make a habit of draw, put in here, then put to the next frame. Okay, so that's basically it. Now there's also another option for loop if you want. What loop does is it goes from the beginning to the end and then back here. So it should look like 1 2 3 and then it comes back. Okay, in this case it's not useful because the leaves don't go back up. Okay, you can use this if you want a time loop sequence in which time goes frontally and then goes back to the same point. It could actually be useful. Now how do I export this animation? It's like, well, in order to export this animation you will actually need to add it again, I think. I really don't remember this one. Let's see. And you take this one, 4 frames, and you actually have it. I think you can actually put it vertically if you need vertical. Okay, so this won't export you the animation, but it will export you the trees as you have done them. In this case you actually don't need the last one because it's the same as this one, so you can actually choose 3 frames, and I don't know, I can put it like this, or if I don't have space there I can actually try it like this, or you can actually put them one by one. Okay, so put 1 tree in here, 1 tree in here, 1 tree in here, and when you create the event with the falling leaves, you actually create the event and you take the corresponding pictures, you put them in the corresponding order, and then you switch through them and you make a cycle of those switches, of those events. Basically there's gonna be an event for this, and for this. Okay, and you put them in the correct order so that it shows that the leaves are falling. Sure, you'll probably be using different animations, but that's kind of it. That's kind of how you use Sakan. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Sorry for the video being too long, but I really like making sure that people actually understand. I may not be the best person to explain, but well, hope you have a nice day. And if you're using Sakan, hopefully you're having less of issues with it, because it can actually be nerve-wracking at the beginning, but it's actually a powerful tool to use and I actually highly recommend it. So before I close Sakan, I'm also gonna put this library in here, set to 1 frame. I'm gonna put it in here and save it. Medieval mod, yes, and I'm gonna close. I think I'm gonna close Sakan for now. And if I go to my rooftop, I actually can see that I have added all of these. All of these I can actually put them in here and in here. Now let's refresh, because this map is still under development. I still have to build it. I have to delete a part of it because naturally it doesn't appear in this case. Okay, so hopefully you have enjoyed this little video. Hopefully it's a little one. And well, as usual, take care of yourself. Good luck with your projects, and hopefully you can learn to use Sakan and use it with much greater ease. Until next time, Ferenc on board, signing out.